I've built my career in commercial real estate, and while I definitely don't regret going down this path, there are some downsides worth considering before getting into this industry. These things just weren't on my radar when I first chose real estate as a career, but these are all things that I wish I knew when I was first getting started. One of the main goals of this channel is to give you guys the information that I wish I had when I was first starting out, so to help you make sure that this industry is the right fit for you. In this video, I want to cover 3 of the biggest downsides of pursuing a career in commercial real estate and some reasons you might want to think twice about entering this industry. So the first downside I want to mention that I initially thought would be a major pro of a career in commercial real estate is that business-related travel isn't always what you might think it would be and can very quickly become extremely repetitive, especially as you progress throughout your career. When I first got into this business, I was so excited to see different parts of the country, and I loved the idea of exploring new markets, going to new cities, and being out of the office on a regular basis. But fast forward a few years into my career, and I quickly learned that this wasn't going to be the kind of travel I had hoped for, and mostly involved going to the same markets over and over again, and often visiting specific parts of town that you wouldn't want to vacation in. If you plan to work in acquisitions, once you move into a deal sourcing role, you'll usually cover about 3 to 4 markets that are generally going to be located within about a 1 to 3 hour plane ride. And this means that even if you're headquartered in a city like LA, you might be spending 2 to 4 days a week in the suburbs of markets like Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Sacramento, staying in very average hotels on the outskirts of town and eating at the same chain restaurants every time you visit. When I initially pictured traveling to tour 8-figure properties as potential acquisitions, I thought of fancy dinners in downtown city centers and top floor views from brand new buildings, but considering most real estate is not brand new and most commercial properties are located outside of major city centers, the reality of the places you'll usually visit often looks very, very different. A lot of companies in this industry look to make investments in areas that are up and coming but aren't fully built out yet, and also look to buy older product that they can then add value to through a renovation, which makes a lot of the places that you'll end up touring not necessarily submarkets or individual buildings that you would want to work, live, or shop in voluntarily. And as you progress and become more experienced over time, a lot of the properties that you'll tour will be deals that you've already walked multiple times throughout your career, since deals will often trade hands every 2 to 5 years or are going to be used as comps for other properties in the area that are currently on the market. Asset management travel tends to be even more repetitive than acquisitions, since you will usually be visiting the same exact properties in the same exact locations every single month, and you're not usually going to go anywhere new unless a new acquisition is added to your portfolio. Now, I love to travel, and in most cases, I don't mind being on the road, but if you're thinking that business travel for real estate involves weekly trips to cities like New York, LA, and Miami, and eating steak dinners at 5-star restaurants every night, in most situations, this won't be the case. Now, another downside that I kind of knew going into the industry, but I didn't actually know the extent of, is that real estate is extremely cyclical, and your income trajectory in the business is not always linear. I talk about this all the time on this channel, but salaries, bonuses, and commissions are all heavily dependent on transaction volume, and when the market slows and deal activity drops, bonuses are very quick to be cut, commissions can drop to 0, and layoffs often start happening in many parts of the industry. Even though commercial real estate careers in general offer an extremely high income potential, if the thought of losing your job unexpectedly or seeing your income drop by 30 to 50% or more year over year is something you don't think you can stomach, there are a lot of career paths in this industry that might not be the right fit for you. I've talked with real estate entrepreneurs who have made over 7 figures in 1 year and less than $100,000 in the next. I've talked with rainmaker brokers at the top of the industry who qualified for food stamps during the great financial crisis, and I've heard dozens of war stories from industry veterans about people being forced to leave the industry altogether during down cycles in the market. Now, obviously, not all real estate career paths are this feast or famine, and positions in lending, asset management and portfolio management usually won't see income swings at this level of magnitude, but if you're looking for a steady, predictable salary, regardless of market conditions, you need to be really selective about the industry disciplines you choose to pursue. Now, the last thing I want to mention in this video that you might feel acutely when living in cities like San Francisco or New York, especially if you're competitive, is that real estate tends to be slow money and it can take decades to get to the top of this industry. Unlike tech, where you can bootstrap an app or a piece of software and exit in 12 to 24 months for a life-changing amount of money, real estate is a capital-intensive business that almost always takes time and deep relationships with equity partners to execute well. Building a track record to the point where investors will trust you with millions of dollars on what should be a relatively low-risk investment can often take years, and once you do have your capital sources lined up, finding and closing on your first deal can often take 6 to 12 months or more from the time you strike out on your own. And when you close on that first deal, you might earn an acquisition fee, but this is often either rolled into the deal directly as an equity contribution or will be used to cover operating costs for the next 6 to 9 months in the business, and it often takes 3 to 5 years or more before promoted interest starts to come into play in any significant way. Big capital gains are also often rolled into a 1031 exchange, meaning that even once you have earned a 7-figure promote check, your investors very likely won't want you to take that as a lump sum, and you might only see 4 to 6% of that each and every year as cash flow distributions from the next deal you acquire. And if you don't have aspirations to go out on your own and you're an employee trying to climb the ladder within an established company, career progression is usually going to be even slower, with long-term incentives often keeping senior professionals at the same company in the same position for a really long period of time, making it more difficult to move up for young professionals in this business. Now, like I've mentioned in other videos on this channel, careers in brokerage can often significantly increase your earning potential early on in your career, but this is not the right path for everyone. And if you want to work at an investment or development firm in commercial real estate, you're usually not going to get to that head of acquisitions or chief investment officer level until you're in your 40s or 50s in most cases. Now, with all of that said, if you're getting into the industry because you know that real estate is where you want to be, the financial incentive is absolutely there over the long term. But if you're looking for fast money or a huge exit in your 20s, real estate is probably not going to be the right fit for you. After being in this industry for the last 10 plus years, I'm really glad I chose this path, but if you're on the fence and not quite sure that a career in real estate is right for you, I hope these things are helpful as you're planning next steps. And if you are set on real estate as a career path and you want to make sure you're ready for interviews and a potential Excel exam that might be given to you during the interview process, as always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Breaking a CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Breaking a CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on this channel on the pros and cons of this industry, make sure to hit the like button and let me know. And if you're watching this and you've been in the industry for a while now, let me know in the comments any other downsides that you've experienced while working in commercial real estate. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.